Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering how, well, my name is Mila, and I was wondering if you were, if you thought Obama or McCain, which candidate would be best to tackle this issue internally. And I'm also referring to energy independence, because I believe that that will alleviate us from a lot of the Saudi infiltration that we have, strong Saudi infiltration that we have. And since one doesn't really have a plan, and will meet with without preconditions with many thugs, I was wondering, which one, in your opinion, will we, you know, we have two choices, would be the best one at this time? You know.
As a terrorism analyst, and I'm, by the way, speaking strictly as a terrorism analyst, I am an independent who will not endorse a candidate, and I'm also the president of a non-profit organization, so I cannot tell you whom I will endorse as a candidate. However, I can tell you as a terrorism analyst who monitors Islamic websites and chat rooms, the Islamic websites now, the terrorist organizations, are buzzing with excitement over the possibility of having Obama as the first Muslim president elected to the White House. We are seeing this excitement over all the streets in the Arabic world and the Islamic world. We even have Hamas in the last weeks of the primary, the terrorist organization Hamas, making phone banks out of Gaza into the United States, calling Muslims in the United States, urging them to vote for Obama because he will be the best for the Muslim world. Now, as a terrorism analyst looking at two candidates, and I focus strictly on what can protect the country, regardless on any other social issue, but I'm going to address your energy issue as well, though. As a terrorism analyst who focuses on what can protect the country, it is very concerning and should be for every American when our diehard enemies, the terrorist organizations who are bent on our destruction, coming in full force endorsing Obama for president. Now, regardless of what his religious beliefs or backgrounds, I'm not even going to touch on that. We in America are raised to respect people and whatever they believe, and their belief is strictly between them and God. We cannot judge what somebody is, a Christian or a Muslim. However, I'm telling you how Obama is perceived in the Islamic world, and in particular by the Islamic organization. Now, the terrorist organizations despise McCain because they believe they cannot run circles around McCain. They believe McCain does not mince words, and McCain will beat the daylight out of them in a way that Obama will never do. They know that McCain is not interested in negotiating with Iran, nor with Syria, nor with any terrorist organization. They know that if Obama is elected, that can buy them time while we in the West are wasting hot air talking negotiations. That will allow them the time to finish their nuclear bomb in order to attack the Israel. And of course, after that, as we all know, what's driving Iran is not only nuclear ambitions, it is bringing about the Mahdi or the Islamic Messiah. And this is the drive behind the Iranian nuclear program. As for energy, we must develop alternative sources of energy, and we must begin drilling now. Now, even though if we drill, we're not going to be able to supply all the needs of the United States. At least that's what I understand it from experts on energy. However, the fact that we can start drilling, or we tell the world that we're going to start drilling, that will make the OPEC nation, that will force them to bring the gas prices down, because the last thing they want is us digging. And when we started seeing the rise in oil prices around the world, basically the Saudis and all the Arabic producing countries looked around and they said, America is stupid. They're not drilling. They're not doing anything. We can charge them whatever we charge them. Let's push the limit. Sadly, it took for us, for the gallon of gas to reach $4 in order for us to wake up. But I believe the giant has risen. I believe the American public right now is demanding the development of alternative energy. There is no turning back. Whoever is going to be elected, developing alternative energy is going to be something major in what they're going to have to do in the next 4 years. Next question. Wow, did I scare you off that much? Okay.
Could you talk about Sharia finance, which is coming to the U.S.?
Thank you. Sharia finances is a very important point. Many people are not familiar with. We have already seen it being practiced in Europe. A lot of banking started instituting Sharia finance. And what that is financing plans under the Islamic law, Sharia law, where mullahs, not bankers, have to monitor the transaction of funds. And the mullahs, who are only qualified Islamic mullahs, can monitor the transaction of these accounts to ensure that 2% of the money is going to go towards Islamic charities doing Islamic work for zakat, which is the Islamic charity. Now, our concern is that we have found out for the last so many years that Muslims, like I mentioned in the Muslim Brotherhood Project, are setting up Islamic charitable organizations as a front to funnel money back to the terrorists. Look at the Holy Land Foundation trial that our government did against the Holy Land Foundation in Texas last year. And what were they doing? Raising money in America and sending money overseas to support terrorist organizations. So the last thing we need is us as Americans who bank with Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley and whatever banking system, Wachovia or Bank of America or whatever you bank with. The last thing we need is having 2% of my money and your money go to support, to be approved by an Islamic radical mullah who's going to approve 2% of our money to be given to Islamic charities, which we know a lot of them are supporting terrorist activities around the world. Now the Islamists are organizing lobbyists and they are pushing strongly for the advancement of Sharia finance in the United States. So now we're having a tug of war between the Islamists who are pushing Sharia finance and us on our side who are resisting it and talking to bankers to force bankers to resist it. But again, this is why I believe coming together as an organization under one umbrella, Act for America, because we can apply pressure as a group. Then you're not speaking of a group of 1,000 or speaking as a little group organized. You are speaking as a huge movement in the United States that can put pressure on the banking institution. Can you imagine if Bank of America approves Islamic Sharia finance? And we send an email out to our members and say, call Bank of America and express your opinion. Can you imagine 50,000 people withdrawing their banking out of Bank of America? This is the power that the organization can do. And this is why I say, please make sure you are signed up to receive our free emails. We want to be able to reach you when we know there are important issues like that, so you can get your voice heard. So that's what Sharia finance is all about. By the way, we are in the process now of raising funds to hire a lobby, a full-time lobbyist for Act for America on Capitol Hill. If our enemy have lobbies and they are lobbying for things against us, why should we not have a lobby representing the views of the mainstream Americans who are concerned about their security and their safety? Next question.
What type of influence do you think you've had on the law enforcement community as far as in a positive sense, considering what we're up against, and you're speaking to the FBI and CIA or whomever else, what do you see that's come out of it as far as educating them?
It's been great. Our military understands what's happening. The problem is with the leaders, the top brass, who are so politically correct. They are the ones that the Islamic lobbyists have gotten into. Listen, talk about Islamic lobbyists and power. CARE, the Council on Islamic Relations, has so much power on the FBI. The FBI invited members of CARE to our largest airport, O'Hare Airport, to give them a behind-the-scene tour of how security is conducted at O'Hare. You talk about insanity. So you do have the top members of our military are cowed by political correctness. Everybody's trying to cover their neck. But you have the agents on the ground, in the FBI, for example, who see what's happening. They do get it. You have the people in the Pentagon who are dealing with this hands-on. They do get it. The problem is now getting to our elite. And that's what we're trying to get to. And this is why I say, only a mobilized, organized American public will be able to bring about change. Singing in the wilderness as one voice here and one voice there is not going to cut it. The American public must rise as one. As I said, the American issue is not a Democratic issue, it's not a Republican issue. It is our issue. No matter what we believe, I want to ensure my country is safe for my children. I want to give my children in America where my kids can speak their opinion freely, and not in America that looks a lot like what Britain is looking like today. So that's what's happening with our military.
I think at that we will take the break and let you sign books and carry on conversations out in front.
Okay.
Thank you again, Brigitte.
Thank you very much.